Hey everybody, and welcome back to Hollywood Knockbusters. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody. I'm here with
Ana Xaden.
Ana Xaden's back. What is this? Your second or third time, I think this season, which is great. We love having you. So we're
Awesome. I
gonna
love
we're
being
gonna
here.
yeah, I think you're our most recurring guest right now. So you're up there. I think John Ward's getting there. You guys are like maybe neck and neck, but.
Nice.
We're here to talk about the 1992 film Ladybugs, which I have the DVD. I don't know if you have the DVD, but I
No,
have
I
the.
did, but it's in Mexico.
Okay, oh, that's right. You love, yeah, it's in Mexico.
Yeah.
So your ex has it, somewhere or something.
Yeah.
But this was actually in widescreen, which was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting it to be in widescreen, but that was awesome. 'Cause most DVDs back then didn't do widescreen back in, when they first started.
It's true.
So,
It
yeah.
was all like standard, and then you could buy the special copies for the widescreen.
Well, I guess this was re-released in 2006, so maybe by then it was, it did do it. But anyway, we're here to talk about the 1992 Rodney Dangerfield movie, Ladybugs, starring Rodney Dangerfield, Jackie, not Jackie Harry, which is what she's known now, like that's her full name, but she was Jackie back in the day. Remember, like she had her own TV show or something?
Yeah.
It was pretty short-lived. It didn't really last very long. But
Mm-mm.
I always liked her humor. She was in I want to say, was it Sister Sister
Yeah,
or
she was one of the moms, one of the girls' moms in Sister Sister. Loved her in that too.
yeah, okay. So that's how I remember her, because that was like the show that got me to go, oh, because like I probably saw this in 92, but it wasn't until like 94 or whatever when Sister Sister came around that I knew who, like, became to like know who she was, you
Yeah.
know. And it's kind of funny because her IMDb, the top four movies up there, is a show called 227. I think I remember that, but I
I
never
don't remember
watched
that
it.
one.
Sister Sister, Ladybugs, and You Got Served. I didn't even know she was in You Got Served. I never watched it. It looks silly to me. Like,
I watched it, but it's only because my boss made me take it home from the video store and check it out. Yeah.
that's weird. But
Yeah.
yeah. So this movie, Ladybugs, was also also has Jonathan Brandis, who we've talked about. It's kind of funny. This is going to be come out on Wednesday. The following Monday, like the first Monday of the month, it will be. I'll just say it right now officially, so you can hear us, or right now. But this it's Sidekicks that we reviewed for Indie Film Cafe. So two Jonathan Brandis movies. I think we mentioned Ladybugs because we
I think
recorded that
so.
way before you know, we recorded that way before doing this.
Hmm.
So I knew I was gonna do Ladybugs at some point. I kind of thought it'd be great to do it this season, but I almost was almost gonna push it to next season.
Hmm.
And I was like, let's do this now. And I'm happy that we did it, like a is a goofy movie. Um, then there was Eileen Graff. She was the mom,
Hmm.
Jonathan Brandis's mom. Vanessa Shaw. I forgot that she was in this and Hocus Pocus,
Yeah.
almost a year apart. And she was 16 when she did both role 16 and 17 when she did them, and she both looked young, very young. I mean, she was young, I guess.
Yeah.
Um so she got to be with and she got to be with Jonathan Brandis in this one, and then Omri Katz in the next one. So what those man, so if Jonathan Brandis was alive today, I would say that Jonathan and Omri should do a movie together because
Yeah.
and fight over Vanessa Shaw. I would love that. But
I used
unfortunately,
to have posters of Jonathan Brandis all over my wall. I was
I
like writing them letters and everything. I was in love with them.
I think that's why I picked this with you.
Nice.
Because I remember you telling me before you had a huge crush on Jonathan
Oh
Brandis.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's why I did that. For people who don't know, Jonathan Brandis was in the Neverending Story 2, Sequest 2032. Uh, he was in the It TV show, like
Yeah.
the It series.
Yep.
Ladybugs, Outside Providence, Sidekicks. What is this? It says he was in Captain Crunch.
Huh?
Is that a commercial? Because what the heck?
Huh.
I guess he was
I
in
didn't
a.
know they put commercials on there.
They shouldn't. That's like it says Captain Crunch video 1992. So I'm guessing
Huh.
that's a commercial.
Interesting.
Um, he was on an episode of Blossom. I need to see that. And Wonder Years. Oh my God,
Oh, I
dude.
remember him on Wonder Years. Yeah. He was on an episode of that. Because I used to love the Wonder Years.
He did an additional voice in Ghost Dad. I don't
Hmm.
know what that means, but um, uh, I don't know. That was weird to see. Yeah, he was. Whoa, there's a James Earl Jones show called Gabriel's Fire that I've never heard of.
Never heard of
Um,
that.
a cop who's been sent to prison for killing his partner is freed by a lawyer who hires him as a private investigator. Wow, that sounds fantastic. Why, what,
Hmm.
why did this only last like one season?
Oh,
Yeah, it was 22 episodes, one season. Wonder if it's on YouTube. I'm gonna look this up real quick because I want to see if I can watch at least the pilot for it. And I hate
cool.
looking at that because then I'm like, if I can't watch the rest of it, it kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's see. No, it looks like you can just see. Oh, yep, you can see season one, episode one.
Hmm.
So on
Where else you could find the
YouTube.
rest of them?
I'm sure maybe you could find the rest of them on YouTube. I don't know. Uh,
Sometimes it's like little parts of the episodes.
yeah, such
Takes
a
forever though.
I know you have to go through one and then you have to watch the commercials or whatever, and then you watch another one, then you watch, right, go through the Did you know they started putting commercials on Reels on Facebook?
No.
So if you watch
Wait,
like a
yes, I
10,
have the really long ones I've
yeah,
noticed they do.
like 10 minutes long ones, they put like two commercials in there. I'm like,
I think
oh,
it's for the monetization. You can sign up to do it if you do long ones.
okay.
But
Well,
like
that's
mine don't last long. I'm just like, get it done and over.
I know. Yeah,
Like do my weird stuff and I'm done.
that's the thing I like about YouTube is generally you only get like 20 seconds maybe and then you can skip. You
Yeah,
don't have to watch the whole thing.
exactly. That
Um,
comes in handy.
doesn't come in handy when we're watching like Tubi, or whatever.
Oh
What
yeah.
did you watch this on?
TV. We have it recorded. I
Ah,
recorded it last summer. Well, not last summer, but the summer before.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I forgot that you still do that. Like you still watch regular TV and stuff and record
Yeah.
and everything. I still do too sometimes. Like my Law and Order SVU, sometimes I'll watch it on Peacock, but most of the time, if I already have it recorded, so I'll just watch it, the Law and
Uh,
Order movies, shows.
yeah.
Um,
But also when I was like 15 or so, I watched this every day after school. Not even joking. For months, I watched this
every
was my
day.
movie every day. I would watch I would watch like the Nickelodeon shows, then I turn this on, then I do my homework, then I'd eat, then I go to bed.
That makes sense. I
Yeah.
I don't remember watching it that much. I do remember watching it a lot. Like
Mhm.
I don't think it's one of the movies I had on Betamax though. I don't, because, okay, so back in the day, for people who may not be aware, there was a little thing called Betamax. It was like a, and you're probably going to hear about this a lot from me. So just, if you're listening to Hollywood Knockbusters a lot, just get ready because that's gonna be a thing probably, for a lot of these movies. But I remember like Terminator 2 and
Mhm.
like Princess Bride was on Betamax because they both had like parts where they would F up,
Mhm.
and it always be a fun part. Like in Princess Bride, it's when they're doing the trumpets. for one of the scenes,
Ah.
and so it all of a sudden tracking would be a problem. For that just that one scene, right? And
Mhm.
then you go back and you can watch the rest of the movie.
Hmm.
And then for Terminator 2, it's like when Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's the best scene in the whole movie, and it always messed up. So I'm so glad like nowadays I have it on like 4K or Blu-ray or whatever, and I can watch it. But it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger is going down and about to like on his motorcycle and is about to grab, or whatever, like jump off the thing and grab him, and all of a sudden it just messes up, and I'm like, oh, why does it have to be like the most epic scene in the whole movie?
Hmm.
My favorite. Um, it's just life for you, I guess. Uh, Ladybugs, I'm not sure. I knew I liked it a lot. I
Hmm.
probably rented it a lot, or saw it on TV because
Hmm.
it did used to come on TV. I don't remember what.
Used to come on HBO a lot.
I didn't have HBO.
Oh,
Like I didn't have HBO as a kid because you had to pay for
yeah,
HBO, and my
yeah.
parents at that time did not want to ever spend money on HBO. So we would have HBO when they had the free HBO, like
Yeah,
for like the week or month or whatever it was. So we
yeah,
would we would watch it then. I would watch it then, but I didn't even HBO back then wasn't even like there were a lot more movies than there were TV shows. Now it's
yeah.
like TV shows and a lot less movies. Mm.
Exactly.
Except for
Yep.
streaming, except for HBO Max, which I feel like has both, you know. Um,
I haven't checked out HBO Max yet.
okay, so I hadn't used it in a while,
Uh-huh.
and then it messed up on me, so I had to go and redo it, or
Hmm.
whatever, and so I did, and it now I have it again, and I'm happy because I need my Big Bang Theory
Uh,
fix, and I need my I need to watch that movie Trap. I've been wanting to
haven't
check that
seen
out.
that, but a lot of people have told me to watch it.
It's like the M. Night Shyamalan movie. It
Hmm.
looks cute. It looks fun.
Nice.
I don't know. I'll like it. I always say
Yeah,
cute,
all
and
the
people are
shows
like,
I
"What?"
wanted on HBO Max are on Hulu, so I got Hulu for $2.99 a month for the next 5 or 6 months.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, to tell you the truth, wait till like Black Friday. They
Hmm.
always have Black Friday deals for every one of those companies and stuff. I'm paying
Nice.
$10 a month, I guess, uh for how much am I paying? Let me look this up real quick
I
because
know HBO Max is 9.99.
yeah, so I'm doing 9.99 for Hulu, and I think
Oh,
that
yeah, they did just go up on that. I forgot about that.
I don't know how
Yeah, if
much.
you would have waited a few more weeks, they would have put it on a 2.99 sale.
Yeah, so 9.99 and 7.99, but they're gonna put like down like I had it on 99 cents for
Oh,
Peacock,
wow.
and I think no 1.99 for Peacock and 99 cents for Hulu. And so I'm wondering if I'm gonna do that again,
Hmm.
and just because I couldn't say no to the 9.99 and 7.99 because I may need to watch Hulu,
Hmm.
coming up in the next, or I have other people who use my Hulu
Hmm.
and they wouldn't have the Hulu, for like the next
Oh,
couple days.
yeah.
So, like I think my family uses Hulu, my Hulu.
Uh,
So I don't know. Anyway, that has nothing to do with Ladybugs, which I think should be on one of those streaming channels. I don't know.
yes, totally.
Paramount Plus, because this is a Paramount production, by the way. So Paramount Plus should put it out. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe I could go on X and say, hey, Paramount Plus, please put out that would be my suggestion thing. If they listen, great. If they don't, that's not
Yeah,
fair.
at
Because
least you tried.
right, and at least I said something. They might be like, "Oh, that's something in our plan for someday." You know,
Hmm.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I like that a lot of these movies are streaming. So when I
Hmm.
see ones that aren't, I'm like, come on, you got space, man, and just putting that on, I guarantee you would get an audience.
Hmm. So it's
Like
not
us.
on it used to be on Netflix.
I don't think it's on anything. Let me double make
Uh,
sure of that.
but
But
Netflix has done this whole another like shift of things again.
hmm.
So yeah, it was like
No, it's
wow back it
only
was on
on Prime and it's not on like regular
maybe
Prime
that's what
Video,
it was. It was on Prime.
but
That's what
it's
it was.
not on like you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Not like the Prime Video. People always get this
Mhm.
confused, and I always kind of get mad. Like it's a little bit of an OCD thing of mine, I guess. But I hate it when they say, uh, Prime Video, but they
Mhm.
really mean like Amazon Prime. There's a big
Yeah.
difference. Amazon Prime and Prime Video is the free, like you pay for that and it's
Yeah.
free or whatever. Amazon Prime is you usually have to pay for it or whatever.
Mhm.
So all right,
Yeah.
so go back to Ladybugs. So I mean, the story is pretty simple. This guy who's sort of nebbish and kind of scared of everything. Rodney Dangerfield's character, he is kind of a he's afraid to tell his boss that he needs a promotion and everything like that. And so he goes to a seminar in the beginning. I love the seminar. It was very much like well, Tony Robbins or something, or
Yeah.
whatever. I think that's what they were kind of poking fun of. And they said he goes up and says, "Hey, I'm or whatever, like what was the line is like, I am great, I am wonderful, everybody likes me, you
Yeah.
know, or something. I am great, I am wonderful, everybody likes me."
Yeah.
And some redneck in a car next to him is like, "Hey, well, you know, hey Chester, nobody, uh I don't like you," or something like that. And and he says, well, whatever is a contagious, must be contagious. He insults the guy,
Yeah.
and they drive off, uh or he
Was
drives
that
off
the scene where he's like, "Hey, everybody's a comedian"? Because
no,
he said that in one part, and I was like,
I was
"Oh my
trying to think.
God." I think
I,
he puts that in every movie he's been in. Oh, everybody's a comedian.
that's funny. I didn't know.
I watched a
Also
lot
with
of
the
Rodney
respect thing.
Dangerfield when I was a kid. Oh yeah, I'm getting respect around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because he says at the end of the movie, he says like, I finally got some respect, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was in uh at Busch Gardens. They had a 4D adventure like pirates show. And
Nice.
at the end, when it was like all done with everything, you see Rodney Dangerfield in a like enclosed space, right? You know, and he looks up and he goes, "I still don't get any respect," you know? And I was like, I mean, well, really, they paid Rodney Dangerfield money to just do that one line? Because like he's not in the rest of the Pirates thing. It's just at the end, like after the credits or whatever, or after like the Pirate show is done, you know. Leslie Nielsen was in it. It had a pretty good
Mm,
cast.
nice.
It was like Pirates, a 4D adventure or whatever.
Hmm.
And it was like if Leslie Nielsen was Long John Silver, so it was silly. I really had a fun time with that movie.
Nice.
Um,
I haven't heard of that.
well, it was only at Busch Gardens.
Oh,
So
only a Busch Garden. Okay,
yeah,
so it never made it anywhere else.
yeah. So
Oh, okay.
and
That's why I
and
never heard of it.
that was the thing. Like back then, they used to get like those shows, and they still have those shows. Those shows still
Mhm.
exist, I think. But they would get the shows, and then you would sit around and watch, a 4D adventure. You'd put the 3D glasses on, and things would come at you, and then the 4D was like they would have some kind of sprinkler system or something you shoot water in.
Oh, yeah, they have one of those at Disney World
Yeah,
where they like have stuff touching your legs and things.
yeah. So it
Yeah.
makes you feel like you were there,
Yeah,
or
those are
whatever.
cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. But anyway, yeah. So Leslie Nielsen and Rodney Dangerfield were in that, and
Nice.
they should have just gotten everybody. Like they could have got Bobcat Goldthwait, and they should have got like Pauly
Oh, yeah.
Shore, and
That
all
would have
these.
been cool.
Yeah, I think it
All the
might have been
greats.
too much money though. I don't think. Yeah, because the problem is that you just do it once, and then you don't pay for it or anything. You
Yeah.
pay with your ticket to come to Busch
Oh,
Gardens.
okay. I didn't know if it was like a separate charge or what.
Hmm.
Because I know in Coney Island, well, it's not a 4D movie in Coney Island. It's a video game, but you
Hmm.
have to pay extra after paying to get into your tickets.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those shows and stuff at Busch Gardens, you don't have to do that, so it's pretty nice. I mean, it's
Nice.
it's
I've never
fun.
been to a Busch Gardens, so
You
I
gotta
need to go
come,
one
man.
day.
Yeah, come out to
Yeah, I gotta visit
Virginia.
one day. After I get
The
a car, I'm gonna take trips.
the one in Tampa is like safari stuff, so
Oh,
everything's like safari based, like animals and
uh-huh.
giraffes and like things like that. And then there's
Cool.
rides and stuff, but like a lot of it's that stuff. In Williamsburg, it's all country based, like it's the old country, so it's like
Oh, cool.
it's got like Europe and Ireland and Italy and everything and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. I still go like I went this year, I went to the horror stuff, and everything this
See,
year.
I'd like to go for that. That would be
That's
cool. Yeah.
just like it's kind of like how whatever Universal has the monster stuff and
Oh, yeah. See,
Disney
I've
has.
only been to a few amusement parks. It's
There you go. You
like
got to
Coney
come.
Island, Liberty Land, Dog Patch, and Disney World.
You haven't been to like what's that really famous one? Six
Six
Flags or
Flags?
anything?
Nope,
No.
never been.
I don't think I've been to Six Flags. I've been to King's Dominion, which is like Paramount's King's Dominion, only
Oh,
once, and I don't think I went there to play. I think I went there for a music festival thing that they were doing,
oh,
a
cool.
Christian music festival, and they had like
Mhm.
bands or whatever there that I was, following. I
Nice.
think Jars of Clay played there or something. I don't know.
I
Anyways,
remember Jars of Clay. That's way back.
yeah, trust me. And Busch Gardens does like the Christian rock too, and they have like
Hmm.
they had Hawk Nelson and the Newsboys and things like that. So it's kind of cool.
Hmm.
But all right, we're getting off track here. So he's this nebbish guy. He goes and tries to tell his boss, and his boss is finds out that like the team that they sponsor, that the company sponsors, the Ladybugs, it's an all-girl soccer team, and they need a new coach,
Mhm.
and everything. So of course, Rodney Dangerfield lies to them and says he's a great. He could tell he didn't know anything about soccer. Like she asked him these things and he was like making shit up. Like, I did forward, I did backward, I did, blah, blah, blah. Like, what are you talking about? I would have been like, you've never done any of this, have you? You know? I don't know if he would have been like, no, no, I haven't, or would have tried to keep going with it or something. But
Yeah.
anyway, he says sure, he signs up because he thinks by signing up to teach his team, it would help with his promotion. And like he would get promotion after he wins the championship, right?
Mhm.
Even though knows nothing about soccer, and he brings his assistant to be his assistant coach, and she knows nothing about soccer, and that's Jackie, and that was fucking awesome. You know,
Yeah.
them two together are just hilarious.
Yep.
Um, and they, then that's it. Like mainly the big thing is that they uh they realize they suck. You know, it's bad news bears.
Yeah.
Like the formula of bad news bears of instead of Walter Matthau, it's Rodney Dangerfield. And so and Mighty Ducks, but Mighty Ducks is Bad News Bears. All of
Yeah.
them have the same plot. You know,
Yeah.
um. So anyway, he goes off and uh, you know, realizes that they not just that they suck, but they've never played. None of this. The only two people that have played, I think, are the one girl that's been there, the black girl that's been there
Yeah.
for like forever, and then Vanessa Shaw's character,
Yeah.
who I think had been there before, but still was not good. You know,
Hmm.
she kicks too high, and
Yeah,
stuff.
that ball went flying when she kicked it.
Yeah, and that pisses off their parents because all they want to do is win. They don't care
Mhm.
about their daughter having a good time. What do you think about that?
I thought that was kind of rude of them because, I mean, they should be like, okay, well, our daughter wants to enjoy this, so we should support her in that. Instead, they're like, don't put her in because she's going to mess it up. So,
Did you
yeah,
ever do soccer at all?
we didn't have soccer, but I wanted to. I tried to talk my school into doing it, and they said, well, go find a coach. I was like, I'll do it. They're like, no, you can't do it. I said, well,
Yeah,
the
you're a
teacher
kid.
told me if I could find a coach, and they're like, no, you can't. We don't want it. We tried that with
So you
volleyball too.
found a coach?
I knew people that would have coached from the colleges, but they wouldn't let us do it. So I
Uh-huh.
was like, okay. And then I was really good at like this movie got me into soccer and I started watching soccer on TV. So, but I also got really good at volleyball and I was like, let's have a volleyball team. We'll go find a coach. Oh, no problem. Yeah, we can't let you find a coach. Like this
Jeez.
school is like really bad about telling you something and yanking it out of your mouth.
Yeah.
So I never got
Me.
to play soccer. Well, actually, in Mexico, I played soccer with the little kids
Aw.
in the parking lot. They
Okay.
taught me Spanish while I was playing soccer.
Yeah, Mexico's a big soccer country.
Oh,
They
those
know.
kids loved it. They
Yeah.
stayed out till midnight in the summer playing soccer in the parking lot with all the lights around them.
Oh, that's cute.
Yep. So they kicked the ball at me. I was like, yes, I get to play. So I kicked the
Yeah.
ball and they said, come on, come on.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, my
Uh,
ex-husband walked out. He's like, where have you been for an hour? I was like, I'm playing soccer. He said, what? So
that's not
yes,
something they expect you to say like midnight, but all right.
exactly.
So yeah, so me personally, I apparently when I was a kid, my parents set me up for soccer. They wanted me to
Oh.
play a sport, you know.
Mhm,
So they were like, "Oh, soccer, it's pretty easy,
mhm.
kind of thing." And another one of my friends, my best friend, who lived like right next to me, we both were soccer. We were doing soccer. All we did was talk to each other the whole time while people went around and played and stuff. We had no interest in kicking the ball or doing that.
Yeah,
And then I got into karate, and that became my sport. Um,
nice.
yeah, my family, my brother was into soccer. My sisters and my brother were all swimmers. They
Ah,
did swimming team.
nice.
But I got an earache when I was 6 or 5, 6, that. And we went to the ear doctor and we found out I had a disease called cholesteatoma. So they had to
Oh,
go out and get my eardrum out of my ear. So I'm deaf in my left ear.
oh.
And I don't talk about it much because unless somebody notices it,
Hmm.
I almost forget I'm deaf in my left ear because it's not like whatever. I only like realize like recently had to go to the doctor. I hadn't got a doctor for my ear in forever. And
Hmm.
I guess my ear canal was messed up. So they had to give me drops and like and because there's red, and stuff
Oh.
and all this other stuff. So they gave me drops and whatnot. But that's so funny because uh because these were like an ear, nose, and throat people
Hmm.
and stuff. So they had this like one guy come in. He was like the one of the big doctors. Brought in like a student nurse or whatever,
Hmm.
to check out my ear. And it was like, oh, what do you see is missing? I was like used as a guinea pig for my ears because like
Oh my
nobody
goodness.
nobody sees that shit anymore. Like nobody sees that
Yeah.
there you don't have a freaking eardrum. like a real eardrum. I had like
Yeah.
I think a fake one put in.
Oh.
Yeah, and it didn't work. So I
Oh.
am still deaf in my left ear. It's just yeah. So
Hmm.
anyway, yeah. So that all. I never did swimming, because
Hmm.
I had to get a earplug, and it was just better not for me to
Yeah.
get into that. And then but I did swim a lot because neighborhood pool, like of course you can still
Nice.
swim, but I just wasn't on a team.
Hmm.
Um, I did do it for a little bit, like when I was older. I
Hmm.
tried and I tried out. I just couldn't do it. I got too old. I got cramps, and
Aw.
I don't know how old I was. I had whatever I guess the age limit was, because
Hmm.
they let me practice, do the stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and so anyway, to go back to this movie, we're talking about. So yeah, I asked you about the soccer because, you seem to be interested in Ladybugs from soccer. So you're
Yeah.
so I didn't wasn't sure. Um, but yeah, those kids they never played, right?
Mhm.
It was a re rebranding year, retooling year, or whatever they called it,
Mhm.
And remember the little girl said, it's a like you've got it in a retooling year, and they're like, great. That means like nobody has played, and now I have to teach these kids how to play soccer. We don't even know how to play soccer.
Yeah.
So he comes home and he remembers that like his soon to be stepson, who they get along, I guess, okay,
Mhm.
but not, swimmingly,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, kind of Jonathan Brandis's character was more like kind of, don't talk to me. We're out in public. So, because you remember he was walking and the teacher's like, is that man bothering you? No.
He's
He
not a
finally,
stranger. He's just strange. That was great.
yeah.
That definitely, I was like, wow, like I things would be a lot different today.
Oh my gosh. Teacher would be
Like,
like, are you in stranger danger?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I'm in stranger danger. They
she
turn
would
him
run
in.
over there and yell at him and say,
Yeah.
"Get away from him!" You
And the
know.
kid would be like, yeah, I don't know him. He's a stranger. Just to be mean. I mean, you gotta admit, kids are meaner now than they used to
I
be.
know, especially like because he wasn't his father,
Yeah.
yet, he's not even his stepfather yet. So like
Yep.
he has, and there was a lot of weird shit in there, like the scene where he's getting the dress and stuff, and
Oh
like
my gosh, that was the best.
I know that was one of the best scenes. He's like talking to he's like she was like, what's yeah, I'm trying to get a dress for my daughter,
Uh-huh.
right? And he's like, oh, what size is she? He's like, what size? And he's
It's
like,
for
oh,
twin
they're
sister.
yeah, twin sisters. They're both the same size. I was like, oh my God. And he's like, go try this on. Like, no, nobody ever would like unless they were doing what they're doing would ever agree to this. Like
Exactly.
no teenage boy would say, "Okay, I'll help you out,"
Yeah.
soon to be stepdad, like or even
Makes you wonder
mom.
what was going through Jonathan Brandis's head at that time too. Like, oh gosh, I
Oh,
can't
I don't want
believe
to
I
know that
signed
because
on to this. Because
man,
that's one thing. I got all those teen magazines, and they did the interviews with them all the time. Like at least once a month, they had an interview with them, and he never talked about Ladybugs. His thoughts on it. I'm like, come on, tell me what you were thinking. Like, did you feel weird? What's going
maybe
on?
that's why. Maybe that's really like traumatized him as a
He talked about
teenager.
sidekicks, and he talked about Sequest.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the even though Sidekicks wasn't a huge hit, um,
Yeah, it should have been. That was a
I-
good movie too.
yeah, I don't think it was a huge hit.
I think it was.
Yeah, I
Mm,
think it should have been. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. I mean,
100.
especially with Chuck Norris being in it, they should have been like, "Ooh, Chuck Norris!" Like they always were with Jean-Claude Van Damme. They're like, "Yeah, he's coming well with the new movie." And then they're like, "Oh, it's Texas Ranger."
Yeah. Let me see. Let me ask ChatGPT. Was
Okay.
sidekicks oh my God, what's going on? My computer or my phone just messed up.
Oh,
Was sidekicks with Chuck Norris a big hit? Aha. We'll find out in this one. A big hit. Let's see. Um, Sidekick starring Chuck Norris and Jonathan Brandis was moderately successful, but not a
uh,
major hit. The film centered around a bully teenager, we know that. While Sidekicks had a modest budget, box office performance, grossing approximately $17 million domestically, it didn't achieve blockbuster status. However, it gained a cult following over the years, especially among fans of the 90s family-oriented action films. The movies that's right. They don't make family-oriented action movies anymore, do they?
nope.
They should. Well, Spy Kids
Yeah,
was
Spy
I
Kids
think
was,
one of the last ones.
yeah. Before that, the last one I really remember was Last Action Hero.
No, no, remember Three Ninjas was big.
Oh yeah, Three Ninjas made a
You
couple
can't
of
do
them.
Three Ninjas anymore because Ninjas isn't politically correct, you know.
Yeah.
Like it
Three
would
guys who do karate, but they're not Japanese. I don't know.
three Karate Kids. I mean, and then you would get in trouble with Karate Kid,
Yeah,
for
you can't
saying
even
that.
call them three karate dudes.
Yeah, maybe you could do that,
Three
you know.
guys doing karate.
Karate Boys. I mean, you know, because like literally titles can't be unless they're trademarked. And even
Yeah.
then, they're trademarked for that title, right? So
Yeah.
you couldn't do a movie called Karate Kid, right? And just call it like a Karate Kid or something. You couldn't do that because I guarantee you Karate Kid is trademarked. They've have
Mhm.
video game, games. They have,
Yeah.
the Cobra Kai TV show. They're all over the place. It's just
Yeah. But
absolutely
could they get away with Karate Kids with an S at the end?
no, because Karate Kid, I think, would be
That whole
trademarked.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you put kids, it still puts Karate Kid in it. Now, say
Uh,
Karate Boys or Karate Men or Karate Dudes, I think
yeah.
you could get away with it.
Hmm.
Because it's there you can't trademark the word karate.
Yeah.
But the thing was the movie would have to be like not similar at all.
Yeah.
It the one I'm like thinking of that was a ripoff of Karate Kid, that was great was the Magic Kid. You know, it starred well it had Don the Dragon Wilson. It was very much like a ripoff of Karate Kid and Sidekicks together. But
I'm
it was
thinking I remember this now.
I think it was on HBO or one of those channels all the
Sounds like
time.
something that would be on Showtime.
Maybe Showtime, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Showtime had a lot of good movies that were karate style.
Yeah, so the Magic Kid, um, let's see, that was 1993. So that
Hmm.
was after both of those sidekicks or whatever. And it said a karate action and laughs never cease. When a brother and sister go to California to visit their uncle, they soon discover that he's an alcoholic on the run from the mob who has to pay up or else. And they're into karate, so they're fighting and there was this kid who I don't know what he's up to now. I really want to know, and I want to do one of these at some point because his name was Ted Jan Roberts, and he was a huge martial arts kid. Like he
Hmm.
was like the kid. He did a movie that Corey Feldman was like the lead villain on and
Oh,
called
what
it
what
was
was
called
that?
Dangerous something. Dangerous Secret or something like that. It was so bad.
I remember him being a villain in something, but I never knew the name of it.
It's called The Dangerous Place, A Dangerous Place. And
Mm.
yeah, it was Corey Feldman, Ted Jan Roberts, Aaron Gray, Mako from uh Sidekicks. was in that.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so yeah, so they don't make they I think they don't even make really um family friendly movies period other than like Disney and stuff.
Yeah.
But like they don't like there's no more Sandlots. They don't
Mm-mm,
they have stopped producing Sandlots.
mm-mm,
Rookie of the Year never got a sequel or
mm-mm.
anything. So I don't know what family sports movies there are anymore. There's no Ladybugs type stuff. Now,
No.
I was mentioning this before to somebody, but um, this movie had a lot of jokes that were meant for adults.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I was kind of told like maybe it was because the parents would
Hmm.
come to the movies with the kids
Hmm.
and they would laugh at the jokes that are very like there's that joke where he's talking to his soon to be wife and they're looking at the house and he's like, oh, 2 stories. They give you one story and then you buy it, they give you another story, or
Hmm.
whatever. You move in, they give you another story. And then he goes and says, the houses are too close to each other. The neighbor's gonna hear us scream,
Yeah.
and he goes, but we never fight. It's like I wasn't talking about fighting.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. So funny.
Another thing that was in there that I was like, even as a kid, I was sitting there thinking, why would kids be skinny dipping? So
That's right. I didn't even think about that. Like, I
yeah,
just
and like
assumed because
he called him. He's like, "You got to get me out of here."
why would all the girls? I mean, I never understood this at all. Why
No.
do girls, and I don't know if this is in real life. I know this is in movies. They always say like the girls want to go skinny dipping by themselves. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I never did that.
And why? Like, wasn't this daytime?
Yeah, it's in the daytime.
Who goes and skinny dips in the daytime?
Exactly. I'd be worried a helicopter would fly over and be like,
I think
"Oh no."
I think that joke was only in there. That whole scene was in there so that Rodney Dangerfield could get into a dress and come and get her, or get him from, or whatever. And
Yep.
by the way, this was like pre all of the stuff that's going on right now with the trans world and
Mhm.
LGBTQ community. I wonder what the LGBTQ community would think about this movie. There are a lot of sort of um jokes and jabs at the trans community. Like there's one line where he says something about some boys want to be girls, some boys are,
Yeah.
you know? And I was like that's it's a little anti, like that seemed but I mean it was 90s. So a lot of
Yeah.
people would sort of give that a break, but like if I watch this with Madeline Deering, I think she would have a different reaction to this, considering
Mhm.
she's trans. So I
Mhm.
think she would have a different reaction. We did do Ghost Dad though together.
Mhm.
So, that one apparently that Jonathan Brandis did the bonus voices for or whatever. Um but yeah, there would be a lot of like sort of jabs at people either cross-dressing or trans or
Mhm.
so. And a lot of pedophilia jokes too.
Yeah.
Like there was that line where I dressed him up like at the bar. It's like, what did you do? It can't be that bad. It's
Mhm.
like I dressed her son up like a girl and made him play with me, you know. I was like, is that really all like because it's a joke, right? You
But
know?
people now wouldn't get it. It's like
Right.
us back then, we're like, okay, well, all right.
I mean, I back then, I as a kid, I didn't get any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand why that was. I like.
Wasn't there wasn't there also a scene with the wig where he's saying something? I think there was a scene with the wig where they're trying to put it on his head and he's like, it doesn't fit, you're hurting me, or something like that.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
in the yeah. So he's in the
Yeah.
dressing room, and he's saying all these things. It doesn't fit, and you know, you got to keep pushing it, and
Yeah.
whatever. And there's this like couple. There's a mom and daughter outside, and they're like listening to it, and the look on her face is like, oh, you know. And then she
No.
comes out with the with the daughter or whatever, right? And then he looks and see there's pedophilia jokes in here.
Yeah.
That's just so
Oh, it's
um
such a wrong movie
it's
looking at
so
it again.
cringy now.
Yeah, but when
Like
we're kids, we're like, ha ha
I
ha,
don't
guys
know
are big.
I don't even know why I would have because I don't think I would have got that as a 10-year-old. Because I would have been 10 years old watching this. So I don't think I would have got that, like understood like that there was like child molestation humor
Yeah.
and
Well,
stuff in
we
this
didn't
movie.
really know about that back then either. I don't know if you knew about it, but I didn't.
No stranger danger was not really a
No.
thing.
I
Like
mean, they told us don't take candy from strangers, but that was about
right.
it because
But
they
like
told
yeah,
us there
that's
was poison in it or there's
right.
razor blades.
Exactly. There's not
But they never told us, oh, if you see a white van, run the other way.
yeah. Or yeah, or yeah, you won't I don't know though. Like there's a really good funny thing for John Mulaney. He's a comic and he would talk about like a lot he does a lot of his stuff about his past and his as a kid and whatnot. And one of the things he talked about was like this guy who came to people's remember when you had assembly in
Oh,
school and
hated
you
that.
and yet, I mean, it got you out of class, I guess. So,
True, but then
and
you had to listen to all this stuff that they're talking about and pay attention.
right, and the only assembly that I was ever excited about was like R.L. Stein visited, my middle school. And so I was super stoked, but I'm so mad that I never like wrote anything down and kept it and
Oh,
and everything like that because I never knew I wanted to be a writer of that age. I don't think like I might have thought maybe that writing was something I was interested in doing as a TV writer or something or movie writer, but I just never, I don't think and horror was not my thing that I thought I was ever gonna do, but I did like R.L. Stein books. I like Goosebumps and Fear
yeah, I
Street
got
and
into his books when I was 8, 7 or 8,
yeah,
and was the first time I saw his books.
probably about the same, maybe 9 or 10 because it was when I got into Are You Afraid of the Dark? And then
Oh,
I was like I kind of wanted, I got into like scary stories to tell in the dark and
uh-huh.
scariest stories you've ever heard. I still have those in my house somewhere,
Do you
you
read
know.
the Fear Streets?
Um, when I got older, I read
Oh, I love the Fear Street. I started reading those at age 10. I just couldn't get enough. We have a collection of these books somewhere in this house.
there's a
Like,
new Fear
I
Street
don't know
coming
where
out.
they are. What?
There's a new Fear Street show, movie coming out
Oh yeah,
for
on
Netflix.
Netflix, right? Yeah, I saw
The
the
Prom
clip
Queen
for
one.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've got to
Yeah.
still watch all the other ones too.
I gotta watch all the Goosebumps, the new Goosebumps that they brought on
I haven't
Netflix.
seen those either.
I don't know if you have Netflix, but you should check them out because
Yeah,
I
I
watched
just
the
got
pilot.
Netflix. Hmm.
The pilot is fucking gold. Like I
Nice.
was so mad because I didn't get a chance to like binge watch it, and I really do need to just sit down sometime and just binge watch it because it
Uh-huh.
is actually like the first. It's got like Justin Long and a
Oh,
bunch of other actors I like, and I think the next season has David Schwimmer or something. So
nice.
yeah,
Bringing back the people from our day.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want things like that to keep happening because the people who aren't, continually getting work, sadly, like
Mhm.
David Schwimmer should get work all the time.
Yeah.
Um, Jackie
Yeah,
Harry
he's
should
in
get
a
work
lot
all
of.
the time.
And Justin Long, you knew it was going to be a good horror movie if he showed up in it. You're like, oh, it's about to happen. Everything's
Yeah,
about to bust loose.
exactly. Was he in the Goosebumps movie? I know Jack Black or was in the first
Yeah,
one.
Jack Black was, I don't remember. There was a zombie one I watched that Jack Black was in playing as R.L. Stein,
Yeah, I
but
think that
I
was
don't remember if Justin Long was in it or not. I kind of want to say he was,
Huh.
but I
Cause
remember
that,
because I may
yeah,
be like flipping films.
no, I don't
He
know.
wasn't in that one.
I don't know. Let me look up Justin Long instead of
Okay.
looking up the thing,
You know,
because
he was in
he's,
an episode of Mom, actually a few episodes of Mom. I was like, oh no, what's about to happen? So it just doesn't still my brain.
well, he's a comedic
Oh yeah.
actor more than he's a
I loved him in
horror
that
actor.
the End of the World or whatever. I think it was called the Seth Rogen movie.
Actually, he was in the Connors. I didn't even know that.
I haven't watched that much. I've only watched a few episodes, and my mom, she will not have it on in the living room. She can't stand any of those.
I love that. I love that.
She doesn't like my shows because she said they're stupid.
Yeah, well, they are, but like that's the point.
Hmm?
You know, a lot of them are. Now
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Connors are kind of smarter. You know, kind of smarter humor. That was the was great about
Yeah.
Roseanne.
Hmm.
Before she screwed herself over by talking politics on fucking X. You know, like that's or Twitter
Oh,
at the
I know what happened.
Yeah, she like went off on something and I forgot what it was, but she went off on something and sits ran her mouth and this is the problem is like we live in a society where we're happy that celebrities share their political views, but then we get mad when they don't share the political views that we like. You know, like how
Yeah.
dare Roseanne say this? How dare this
Yep.
person say this? How dare that person say this? But the truth is, like, say whatever you fucking want to say. People shouldn't be
Yeah.
fired for saying whatever they want to say.
Hmm.
Politically, they, you know, I don't think people should. Maybe it looks bad on the companies or whatever, unless you're going around saying F the president necessarily, or that you think like people should die or something, you know, things
Yeah,
like
you
that.
don't say that stuff.
That's a little messed up.
Hmm.
Don't be like that because even though you might feel that way, you know,
Hmm.
there's other ways of expressing that without uh you know saying things that are threatening, you know, sort of, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
um but anyway,
Yep.
that is completely not have to do with
I could see
ladybugs.
Rodney Dangerfield doing that just to mess with people, though.
God, he died before social media was a thing, you know,
Yeah.
and what
Oh
is it?
man, could you imagine social media if he was? Oh
Well, I
my
mean,
gosh.
we got some of the comics. Like we had Robin Williams. I think he had one.
Yeah.
I don't know what he ever said on it, but
Hmm.
sure it was funny, whatever he said, you know. But you know, we had Rodney Dangerfield. We had who else? Um, I don't know. We've had some pretty, you know, pretty good comedians doing that stuff. So yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, whatever. Um. So yeah, so what was I gonna say? So um the to go back to Ladybugs and Rodney Dangerfield. So
Hmm.
there was a lot of like weird shit that nowadays we look at and we're like, ugh, cringy. But then there was humor that was all Rodney Dangerfield's, you know?
Hmm.
Like there was what is it? The the humor he had with like his one-liners, you know, that he would always say, you
Yeah.
know, and stuff like that, where he's like, you know, talking about that Annie, Coach Annie or whatever, and he was like, you know, I'd bring you to the zoo, and they'll be happy for me returning you, you know, or you know, she's not Two-Faced, or else she used the other one, you know, right? You know, things like that. They're just so Rodney Dangerfield,
You
you
know, I
know.
said that to somebody once.
You said that to him?
Yeah, but I flipped it around to my own. I was like, "You're so two-faced. You should just use the other one."
Mm.
And evidently, they never saw his humor, and they're like, "I don't get it." I said, "You know what? It's just not funny if you have to explain it." And I walked away.
It's
I
true.
turned back. I was like, just use the good face. I
Yeah,
turned and walked to class.
nice.
Yeah, but the
Uh,
girl was being really mean to me, so that was my
so
comeback. Was Rodney Dangerfield
that's
inspired?
so funny because like you were saying before that you really love this movie that much. So
Yeah.
that line
Oh
must have
yeah.
stuck with you for a while.
Oh, I love
Um,
Rodney Dangerfield growing up too. I shouldn't have because that man had a filthy mouth. I mean, I
well,
shouldn't have been watching his stuff, but Caddyshack, all those.
Caddyshack was really what made him famous.
Oh yeah.
I kind of I did a deep dive once into his, you know, into his life, and I went down like a Wikipedia rabbit hole, and I was kind of looking, or Wikipedia or IMDb it might have been, but I was like looking up like, who, like how he got started, and he got
Mhm.
started old, like
Yeah.
he was not like he was not doing it like some people they do it all their life,
Hmm.
they thought they're funny when they were kids, they whatever, and they were like they would admire people like Rodney Dangerfield or something, and then they
Hmm.
would go out and they would do their own version of it, right, and
Hmm.
stuff, and their own version of like their own stuff, and and whatnot, and some like I did stand-up comedy once, and I'll
Nice.
never do it again. And
Aw.
it wasn't because I had a bad experience with it
Hmm.
necessarily. I just realized mid doing it, I didn't like it. It just
Oh.
wasn't for me. Like,
Hmm.
you know, I am not a comedian, but I wanted to
Hmm.
because I thought to because I was watching at the time, I think, if I'm correct. I was watching a lot of the show called what is it called? It was Crashing. That's what it was called. And it was a show about a comedian who would
Hmm.
do, comedy and stuff. And I'd always thought it would be fun to try it. And I was like,
Hmm.
well, they did like open mic nights and stuff, right? And so I found an open mic night like 30 minutes away from where I lived. And I set up, I got, signed up for it,
Hmm.
everything. And I did it. And I picked the wrong day, by the way.
Oh
Uh,
no.
the wrong day. So first of all, they were told we couldn't do any blue material. So we couldn't do any like people like vulgar stuff.
Hmm.
And some of my stuff was vulgar, you know.
Oh.
And so I was like, crap, now I have to change my whole act. I think I
Hmm.
still let a couple vulgar things slip, I think. Um, I don't even remember what I did. I don't remember the jokes I made or whatever,
Hmm.
and stuff. So I got up there and my friend was high when I brought her because it was her birthday
Oh.
and she
Oh.
wanted to get stoned, and I was like, sure, go ahead. So she was high, and she was like, so there's like I did one bit and there was silence, nobody laughed, and I all I could hear was her laugh and go, oh my God, at how like terrible. I was like, oh fuck. So
Wow.
I did the bit, and then I left, and then I told the guy because we're supposed to stay all the way to the end, you know,
Hmm.
but not that I was embarrassed or anything, but my friend was high. I just didn't feel like staying there and
Yeah.
stuff. So I was like, do you mind if we just head out? And the guy was like, sure. So we headed out, and I messaged the guy and said, thank you for allowing me to be on it. He goes, dude, you picked the wrong day because you're the only newbie there.
Oh.
And like I was the only person who was their first time, and everybody else there had done it at least once before, if not more. And
Hmm.
there were actual real comedians, professional comedians coming
Oh.
in to do it and stuff. I don't know why, but I guess to
Mhm.
give love to that comedy club or whatever. And so I had picked the wrong day because everybody was making everybody laugh and I was sort of not, or
Oh.
whatever, because and look, comedy first of all, especially for stand-up comics, the biggest thing is your first set that you do is gonna suck. You are not gonna get up there and say the funniest things, make everybody laugh, but it's a learning experience from what I understand.
Yeah.
Like you're up there, you give it a try, it sucks, you go back home, you rework what you did, right? You go back, you try it again, it
Hmm.
sucks. You do this for like a lot, like comedians aren't comedians overnight. They take a long time
Yeah.
and sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss. And that's the thing. Like some people go to comedy shows all the time, and basically a comedy show is somebody telling you, make me laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't go like I saw this comedian who's joking on this heckler. The heckler woman was going off and saying, "Oh, I don't know, right?" And he was like, "Oh, my," he was like, you're just trying to be funny or something like that. But what the girl says to him, and he goes, "Wow, how dare I be funny at a comedy club?" Like, and I cracked up because I was like, "Oh man, that's great." So, like it's like she came here for a TED talk. I was laughing my butt off because dealing with people who are hecklers or whatever is hard,
Yeah.
you know. So I give that credit to Troy Bond. That's the guy's name that did that. And I think
Ah.
he's hilarious. I think he's a funny guy. And there's a lot of great comedians out there, you know. I'm not one of them. I can write funny jokes for my movies and stuff, but like it's not like sometimes it's off the top of my head. Sometimes it doesn't play well, you know.
Yeah.
And I might think it's funny. That doesn't mean you're gonna think it's funny. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, we all have a different sense of humor. Some people might think this movie is hilarious. Some people might not like this movie at all. You know,
Yeah.
and so it didn't do very well, box office wise. I don't believe.
Um,
That's why it's on the show.
yeah.
Let me see what it was. What was the budget and stuff? Um, so crap. Okay, yeah. So the budget was $20 million and it grossed close to 15 million, but not even.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a bomb.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know why it was a bomb necessarily. Maybe it was like just the idea. Okay, so here's a couple things for the trivia that's on like IMDb, so anybody could read this if they wanted to. But
Hmm.
near the beginning of the film, Jonathan Brandis's character Matthew calls Rodney Dangerfield's character Chesterfield. Like that's
Hmm.
what he kept calling him. Brandis had a habit in real life of referring to certain friends in jest by adding field, to the end of their names. It is rumored by some who knew him that he carried his this over into the film and ad-libbed Chesterfield as an inside joke.
Hmm.
Remember, he kept calling him that. I was like, "Is that his
Yeah.
full name? Like, was that the character's full name or not? Guess not." Jonathan Brandis and Vanessa Shaw dated during filming.
I did know that.
You did know that? Okay. So you
Hmm.
learned that from Teen Magazine or whatever.
Yeah.
17 Magazine. Um, The movie was originally going to be filmed in Dallas, Texas, but the location was changed to Denver, Colorado, because of concerns about the effects of heat stress on child actors in Texas. That makes sense, you know. Um,
Yeah.
oh,
Sure.
okay. Whoopi Goldberg was given the option to either portray Julie in this movie or take the lead role in a little movie called Sister Act.
Hmm.
Gee, I wonder which one would do better for her. Did better for her. Although Goldberg loved Rodney Dangerfield and considered him a comedy icon, she chose the latter film because she felt it would be more successful.
Hmm.
She proved right, as Sister Act turned out to be one of the top 10 grossing films in 1992, while Ladybugs flopped at the box office.
Hmm.
Right.
She chose correctly then.
do not even these. I'm looking at this for the first time. I didn't even look into any of these things, so I did not know any of this stuff. Originally, the production wanted Matthew when he was disguised as Martha. Like I forgot how like they just like Martha Matthew like it
Yeah. Oh my
in
gosh. Yep.
heels. For practice, Jonathan Brandis had to walk in them from some time, later commenting, "High heels are horrendous." For filming, however, it was decided to go with flats because they wanted Martha to be as awkward as a girl.
hmm I
Okay.
remember that from one of the magazines too.
Oh,
His name, Matthew, makes me think of the little kid that has the hearty laugh. Have you seen the video about this kid that finds a moth and names him Matthew?
no, that's
Oh
not
my gosh. So this little kid, every time it pops up, it makes me think of this movie because
right.
the guy's name is Matthew and Martha. And the mom asks the kid, he's like, "What's your pet moth's name?" And he just goes, "Ha ha ha ha, Matthew." And I'm like, every time I see it, it makes me think of Ladybugs, and
That's
I start
and it's
laughing.
a moth, ladybugs, moth. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like there's a
exactly.
connection there. That's funny.
Yeah.
Despite playing engaged couple in this movie, Rodney Dangerfield, who plays Chester, was 27 years older than Eileen Graff, who portrays his fiancee Bess.
Hmm.
The soccer game matches were filmed at three Colorado educational institutions. They were at the Kent Denver School, St. Mary's Academy, and the Aurora Higher Education Center. Rodney Dangerfield was disappointed in Paramount's marketing strategy for the film. He'd still be disappointed because it's not on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
He felt they made it like too much of a family comedy when the target demographics were teenager and adult audiences. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Dangerfield believed that the Paramount's marketing was the reason the film flopped upon release. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like a kids movie. Even though kids like
No,
us watched it, it wasn't a kids movie, was it?
no, it wasn't at all.
No.
But we didn't realize that as kids. We thought, hey, it's a kid movie. Mom, can we rent that? And then they'd start watching. Like I remember my mom saying, "Oh my gosh, what do no."
When did she let you watch it then? She like, I don't know
Oh,
how.
well, they let me watch it because I was like, I can handle it, Mama. So I was like, we rented it. Somebody's got to watch it. She said, you know what? You've watched Freddy Krueger? Go right ahead. Just watch it in
Oh,
your room. So I remember I had to watch it in my room with my
um,
sister out of the room.
oh, okay.
hmm
Rodney Dangerfield asked his good friend Sam Kinison, with whom he had appeared in Black Back to School, to do a cameo in the opening of the film as the motivational speaker. However, Kinison was unable to commit because he was making a huge comeback in stage stand-up comedy, making doing lots of sold-out performances around the country. So he regrettably had to pass. Kinison passed away on April 10th, 1992, 2 weeks after the film premiered in theaters.
Wow.
That sucks.
hmm
Um, the production of the picture was originally scheduled to begin principal photography on June 10th, 1991. Wow, so it almost took a year to get it out. Movies take a year now. Like, especially like the Marvel movies, they'll might start
hmm
like July 2025 or
hmm
2024, and they'll be out by July 2025. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chester drives a 1990 Pontiac Trans-Sport. Okay. First leading role of Rodney Dangerfield in a live-action theatrical film since Back to School in 1986. Dangerfield was also the lead in Rover Dangerfield, but that was fully animated.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
I remember it existing. I don't
hmm
think I ever watched it.
Ah.
I think it was 91. I should have watched it because I was into cartoons then.
hmm
So animation. I don't think it interested me unless it
hmm
was Disney or something. Like I didn't really even like other than maybe like The Land Before Time and Secret of the Nim and stuff. Those
hmm
like very little animated movies that I watched that wasn't like The Lion King,
Yeah.
Aladdin kind of stuff, you know.
Oh, I
Um,
was and still am a Disney lover.
I am too. Like I love the old school Disney. New
Hmm.
school Disney,
I
hit
like
or
some
miss.
of the new school Disney.
Hit or miss, for me. Was featured on episode 183 of the comedy podcast. How did this get made? With special guest Patton Oswalt. I did not know that. I gotta listen to that. I used to love How Did This Get Made, where they
Mhm,
would what they would do is it was like I want to say like four people, and they would go on stage and they would in front of like an audience, and they would talk about the movie like we do, you know,
mhm,
but they would talk about like how did this get made? But like, it's kind of like Indie Film Cafe where we kind of try to deep dive into stuff sometimes. They would
mhm.
really actually go into a lot of detail and stuff. I actually
Cool.
like that show. Rodney Dangerfield's second sports comedy movie, the first being Caddyshack, about 12 years
Mhm.
earlier. This is the second movie in which Rodney Dangerfield appears in drag. The first was Easy Money in 1983. And in the final game, several of the Flames team are boys in wigs. Yeah, why is that a trivia? Like we knew that at the end. Like, that was the joke
Yeah.
that the guy who his boss
Hmm.
finds out that he did that. And so he thinks that's hilarious and wants to like have a winning team. So he
Yeah.
just dresses up, he does baseball next. And I
Hmm.
think they were setting up for a, sequel or something
Yeah.
but here's the thing, like not many, have you ever seen a movie that has drag, people in drag that got a sequel? Like, has there ever been one? Like, look at Tootsie, look at,
I don't think
Some Like
so.
It Hot. Look at I'm trying to think of what other, like Tu Wong Fu, I think, or something
Hmm.
like that, with John Leguizamo, I think.
Hmm.
John Leguizamo like Patrick
Angry
Swayze.
Inch.
What?
Headbutting in the Angry Inch. They never made a sequel to that.
No, I don't know why, but cross-dressing movies never get sequels.
Yeah, they should have.
I mean, some maybe.
I
I
mean,
don't.
RuPaul's Drag Race got tons of sequels to the Drag
Well,
Race
yeah.
season. I watch
I
it every morning.
I did like that line where Jonathan Brandis is going up and down as like Martha and Matthew and everything of the stairs. And he said, "What is this, a drag race?" I thought
Yeah.
that was funny. That was good.
I
Um,
don't know why, but I always wanted to do what he did going down the stairs where he kicked his feet up and just slid down the stair rails.
yeah,
That was
I
so
don't know
cool.
how they did that
I
because
don't
like,
know. Leave it to a kid to figure it out. Well, a teenager to figure it out.
I know, but that's also a dangerous stunt, you
Yeah.
know? Like, and you can tell he's doing it. Like,
Well, you got to think back then, we weren't as scared to do stuff that was dangerous. Now we're like, oh, I got to pay for insurance. No, I'm not doing that.
well, you
So,
said in a movie that is coming up, I'm not gonna say
mhm.
what, but a movie that's coming up for you, you've got people coming out to work up with the guns or whatever.
Oh
So,
yeah, we're not going to actually be shooting the guns. I don't think there may be a part where we do because it talks about a gun range, but I have my military friend coming with the guns.
yeah.
So
And
yeah.
it's just to
And
like
I
probably
know
also
how
to
to
make
use
sure.
guns anyway, so it's like I've been trained with guns, but I don't think anybody else has.
Right. And you always should have somebody who knows how to do that.
Yeah.
I
And I
got
was told make sure they're unloaded. I said they're going to be double checked by two people, him and me. So
Yeah, that's, I mean, after the Alec Baldwin situation, unfortunately,
yeah.
uh, that situation, um, there's been a lot of things like, I mean, a lot of more people are afraid to even use real guns and just have prop guns that
Hmm.
can't actually shoot anything,
Hmm.
or whatever, which is
Yeah.
more, safer for everybody.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't like that because they like the idea of actually shooting off the gun, or
Yeah.
whatever, and seeing the real, the real blanks going or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
See, I was supposed to do that with my brothers, and that was for another film, but we're having to reshoot everything because the season's passed. So it's like it's gun. I had rib cage pain for 2 weeks because of the weight of the gun.
mm,
But he asked if I could bring that up there. I said, yeah, I can't cross state lines with that.
mm,
So I was like, I got a guy in Tennessee, so we're good. Actually, I
no,
have people in the military in every state I've lived in. So that's pretty cool. I know I can contact any one of those people.
I wonder like could if you say you can't cross state lines, but like
Oh,
that would be only.
it's
But
because of the type of gun.
how big is it?
It's like it's a semi-automatic.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
if it were like a
I can't
small
go across
one,
that.
you can fit
No,
it
no, this
somewhere
thing's
and
like
yeah.
half the length of my body, if not longer.
Yeah, you would get in
Yeah.
trouble like
Oh yeah, they'd
if you
see
got
it.
pulled
They'd
over.
be like, "Really?"
Yep.
They'd be like, "You're
Um
quite ballsy coming across state lines with that."
so yeah, so like doing that stunt and doing everything and I like the idea that he had to keep being Martha and Matthew and
Hmm.
Hyde. Like that became almost like a sitcom thing,
Yeah.
scene or something.
And
And
he messed up in one part. Well, not like in real mess up in the character. His character went down to talk to the girl, and Rodney Dangerfield pulled the wig off
uh,
because he forgot the wig was still on, and he was
yep.
about to go into the room.
He was gonna talk to his mom. Yeah, and then his mom, like, because he was not supposed to be in front of the girl, he was supposed to be
Yeah.
Martha. So he was almost gonna walk in, he was gonna grab something, he still had it, and yeah. And
Yep.
was it Rodney Dangerfield grabbed the wig.
Yeah.
So that was cute. I
Yep.
I enjoyed I enjoyed the relationship between Jonathan Brandis and Rodney Dangerfield. I thought that they did a great job. Like there was that scene where
Oh,
there was that scene where they're the first can you hear me? Hello?
yes.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Hello? Can you
I've
hear
had
me?
issues with yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you
okay.
perfectly.
Yeah, it froze for a second though.
Okay. I had a feeling like something happened. Um so yeah, so like I love that scene where they're in the car and and basically he wants Matthew to come check out the girls and see what see if he can help or whatever. And just that scene
Mhm.
between them was just nice. It just had a this like
Yeah.
kind of thing where you can tell that Matthew really likes Chester, but
Yeah.
he says like later that he thought like he was never going to get married to his mom or whatever and that and I'm like why do you why do you worry about that like as a kid
Hmm.
like shouldn't you like I mean if your mom dumps Chester
Hmm.
right and you're not that close with him then it doesn't matter
Hmm.
you know
Yeah.
maybe he was afraid to get close I don't know there's a lot of that stuff so um maybe, yeah, maybe he didn't think he was gonna stick around, so he just put up like a
Hmm.
defense, or whatever.
Yeah, true. Yep.
And he did like
I
make
think
that.
that's what it was too. Is he was probably afraid she was going to get hurt,
Hmm.
so he didn't want to get close.
Right. So they that was the thing. So
Mhm.
he knew like he didn't think Chester was gonna follow through, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
anywho, they have that really nice scene, and then of course he signs on to do it because of Vanessa Shaw's character. And
Hmm.
everything. Which they have that scene where the guy, the friend of his, who I thought he looked familiar, then I looked him up and I'd never seen anything else he's ever done. So I was like, okay. But his like best friend who you only see
Huh.
it in like one scene, you know, and he's like, go long, you know, and he
Oh yeah.
he runs for the football and then he catches it like right in front of Vanessa Shaw, like or whatever, and she's like, "Nice catch," you know, and stuff, and kind of
Hmm.
giggles at him. I thought that was cute. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, uh it was nice. Like I don't know, the whole movie was nice, you know. Aside from
Yeah.
the issues that we'd have today that we did not have back
Yeah.
then, you know, because we never
Yeah.
thought about any of this stuff as being, we just thought of it as comedy, you know, right?
Hmm.
Like remember
Yep.
I think the next year or the year after was was when they did like My Father the Hero, you know. Like
Oh, I love that one.
right. But like you look at it now and you're like, ugh, it's creepy.
I
Like
know.
the girl
Oh, that's so
claims that
wrong.
stuff. Yeah, claims that her dad, her actual like literal dad, not even like stepdad, but real
Mhm.
dad is her lover and stuff. And he goes
Yeah.
along with it. Like
Yeah. See, if a girl did that, or if any kid did that now, they'd be like, okay, you need to go talk to somebody.
you need some therapy,
Yes,
because like why would you make that up? Like that is,
exactly.
like and no dad would say okay, would
Exactly.
go
They'd be
along
like,
with
oh,
that.
I'm not saying that.
No, I would not agree to that. You're my
Mhm.
daughter. You start acting like it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was weird. So like that time period of 92 to probably 95 had some really weird
Hmm.
movies that kind of teetered on the pedophile side of stuff.
Yeah.
And I never thought about that. Like as a kid,
Hmm.
I only thought like those movies were funny. I never
Yeah.
thought they were like cringy and weird
Yeah.
and stuff. Now as an adult looking back at it, I'm like, why did my parents let me see this movie? Like, you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't
Oh yeah. I think that about a lot of movies I watched as a kid.
well, I mean, we were just so like you said, you watched like Nightmare on Elm Street or something, right? As a
Yeah.
kid, your parents let you
Trust me,
watch
that
that.
wasn't the worst. I think the worst was like Police Academy and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
didn't realize how bad that stuff. Revenge of the Nerds. Oh my gosh.
Well,
I watched
Revenge of the
that a
Nerds
few
has
years
like
ago again, and I'm like, oh,
the Revenge of the Nerds has that one infamous scene of like the non-consent, you know?
hmm.
And back then nobody thought of it like that, because
Yeah,
nobody I mean, even though yes, like, I think yeah, like no, nobody like consent was sort of like I don't know, it was like it was not as talked about like the word consent
yeah.
and stuff. And so it became a word that is very understandable today. But like
Hmm.
them doing that line,
Yeah.
or whatever, doing that scene where she's having sex with him, but she thinks it's somebody else, and then
Hmm.
she takes off the mask. The only problem I have with everybody complaining about it is like, yes, he did it, he did it, whatever. He takes off the mask, reveals who it is, and she's still into him, I think, and everything. So I always like
Yeah.
I
She
kind of
married him.
disagree with that. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
So
married him in a sequel. So,
right. So like I think
hmm.
there was I think things like that can be kind of overlooked as comedy of that day, that time period.
Hmm.
There was Ethan Embry. I don't know if you know who Ethan Embry is from.
Yeah.
Like,
Used to be Ethan Randall, but now Ethan Embry. Yeah.
yeah. He was in like Can't Hardly Wait, and he
Hmm.
hates that movie, I think. Like, I don't know if he hates it, but he just
I don't know.
yeah, maybe he hates it. He has said on Twitter back in the day, I remember him talking like I said something about that, and he was like, "Oh God, I that's such a cringeworthy movie now," because if you look at what some of the people said,
Hmm.
like there's at one point where Mike Dexter is saying like some guy called me a F word,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. And that was jokes, and we as the audience were laughing at that stuff back then. Nowadays we look at that and go,
Mhm.
God, that's not that funny anymore. And I agree, but I
Yeah.
still think like there's nostalgia slash some of that stuff is still funny. There's stuff
Hmm.
in there that I think is still pretty funny.
Yeah.
Um, so I still like Can't Hardly Wait. It's hard for me to like look at things and say, that I can't watch that anymore because of,
Hmm.
this and that. I just say like we now are a different time, you know,
Yeah, definitely.
and everything. So Ladybugs itself has cringeworthy scenes.
Hmm.
Absolutely. But like we live in a different time period where that stuff is cringy to us now, but back
Hmm.
then, adults may have found it humorous. Kids didn't get any of it, didn't
Yeah.
understand any of it, especially when Rodney Dangerfield was doing the stuff inside the dressing room and then comes out
Hmm.
and walks up to that little girl like, "Oh, aren't you a cute little girl?" And the
Yeah.
the mother faints. I mean, nobody knew that that was going to be the case. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought I still think it's a really funny movie. Um, especially with Rodney Dangerfield's jokes.
Hmm.
There's a great scene where uh Ronnie and Jackie are singing.
Hmm.
I forgot they singing what's that song? Uh and it's not Roller over Beethoven. What is it?
Mm-mm.
Great Balls of Fire, remember?
Yeah.
They're singing Great Balls of Fire, their own like rendition of it. And
Hmm.
and stuff and with the kids, with the girls and stuff. And I don't know, I just had a really fun time seeing, you know, the movie again. I
Hmm.
still laugh. It's just like My Father the Hero. It's got cringy moments to me, but I don't know, I still look at it and laugh. I
Yeah.
may look at it now and go, good God, this is not like to go back to My Father the Hero, there was literally a scene where he's singing I love little girls, or
Oh
something like
my
that.
God.
Do you remember that? Like he's
I love
he,
little girls.
yes, something like that. Like he's like, yeah, he sings that, and then all the people get up and start walking away, and he has no idea why. Like the only person left is
Yeah.
the woman who
Like,
likes him and knows, and it's a sweet song because it's talking about loving your daughter, you know, but
thank
or daughters.
goodness for little girls.
Thank goodness
Yes.
for little girls, you know, and
Yeah.
it's so cringy now because
Yeah.
you're like, oh
Oh, back
God,
then I'm like, oh, that's so wrong.
and yeah, you
And
think
then
it's
I
so
started
wrong.
laughing. So it's like, oh man, my sense of humor back then was really messed up.
I don't even think I got many of this stuff, I didn't know what I don't think I even knew what a lover was,
Mhm.
because I didn't know
Oh,
what
I had some
I
weird people at my school.
like I didn't know what like I knew there was nudity in movies, but I didn't
Mhm.
really know what sex was,
Yeah.
when I was a kid. So like all of that stuff was weird to me to like hear all this stuff about like lovers and all this
Hmm.
other stuff. And I didn't laugh at that stuff. I was laughing. Well, first of all, I was a kid who had a crush on Katherine Heigl, so I liked
Yeah.
she had a like a skinny bikini on, and
Hmm.
'cause she was my age. Nowadays, I'm like, oh God.
Oh,
Like,
it was a thong.
yeah, it was a thong, and then
Oh
she was
my
only, I
God.
think she was only like 16 years old, so
14.
14. I don't know if
Yeah.
her actual
Oh,
age.
actual age, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think she
Yeah.
might have been a little older, for real. But she
Same,
was
same.
supposed to be 14, and I really hope they use this butt double
I
because
hope so, because I
I
don't think that's very legal. I mean, it wouldn't that be like kind of illegal to show
like
that
child
part?
child
Yeah.
porn. I
Yeah.
don't know. So I don't know. We did Dustin Hubbard and I reviewed that for Hollywood Knockbusters because it was a bomb in the
Oh.
box office. But I don't know if we talked about that or not. But like nowadays, I like think about that and like, I don't, I like, no offense, but like, I mean, I like Katherine Heigl, but I don't want to see her 14-year-old butt, or
Exactly.
whatever,
Yeah.
16-year-old, even 16-year-old. If she were 18, or something at the time, that's
Hmm.
different. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, let me see real quick. I gotta see if the IMDb says anything about that because that is to me that's really creepy to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to sort of like movies like these because I'm like, when you know sort of about Hollywood and how a lot of it is child molestation, stuff like that,
Yeah.
you kind of start going, ew, like, um, I don't know. Um, I may have to ask ChatGPT if they know. Oh, Katherine Heigl says she still is mortified about having to wear the white thonged swimsuit. She told the director it made her very uncomfortable, but he felt it was very necessary for the plot.
Hmm.
Heigl said she was raised Mormon and a very good girl, so that was really hard for her. And if she had known then what she knows now, she would have refused to wear it.
Hmm.
So when Katherine Heigl appeared on the Howard Stern show in April 2016, Stern pointed out that the film would never get made these days. No,
Yeah.
especially by a Disney-owned studio, at least not in the US. And if anyone tried, they'd be arrested. Heigl agreed, saying, it would never happen. I watched it recently with my 14-year-old niece, and I was like, this is really inappropriate.
And another movie she was in that she wore some stuff that my mom would never let me walk out in, even to this day, was Wish Upon a Star. She
Yeah,
pretty much wearing a bra as a top. I mean, it was like a bralette, but that was her shirt to go to school in.
that's,
I'm like, what kind of school do you people in Hollywood go to? I mean,
was that the one with Danielle Harris?
yeah, where
I
they were
never
sisters
actually,
and they swapped. No,
I never
oh my,
actually saw it,
so
but
funny. It's
but
hilarious.
and now I'm like freaked out to watch it because I don't like. Am I
Well,
gonna watch?
she's like wearing short. I mean, that was the style for back then, but you weren't usually allowed to wear that stuff to school. Like really tiny micro skirts and tube
Oh,
tops and stuff like that. And I'm like, what kind of school is this that they're going to? And Danielle Harris went in all dominatrix in one scene.
oh man.
I
So
was
this
just like, wow, this whole movie is wrong, but it was funny.
this really makes me sad. Alicia Silverstone, who was 17 at the time, was considered for the role of Nicole in My Father the Hero, but
Mm,
director Steve Miner felt 14-year-old Katherine Heigl would appear more innocent and look better in the thong swimsuit.
mm,
Steve, Steve. I used to love that guy, man. He directed like Lake Placid. He directed I think like Halloween H2O
hmm
and some of my favorite movies back then, TV shows like Dawson's Creek and things like that. And I was a
hmm
really big fan of his, but man, come on. That just right there just makes
Yeah.
me and his last name is Minor. Steve
Oh.
Minor. Oh God. Oh man, we should have known. You know. That's just. I'm sorry, Steve, but I can't. Was I friends with him on Facebook? I don't know. Like, he might watch this and be like, I don't know why you would listen to this, but at all, because I'm not talking about my father, the hero, but
Yeah.
um, but I did, and I don't know if I said anything ever really nice about it necessarily because I mean not nice, but I mean I love the movie still. I still think there's
Mhm.
really some funny scenes in the movie. And just like this movie, there's cringeworthy scenes, but that's like seen through the eyes of now where things are a lot different and people are sort of taking things a lot more seriously than they were, which they should have back then,
Mhm.
especially with children.
Yeah.
You should be very careful. You got Vanessa Shaw, who's 16. You got Jonathan Brandis, who I think was probably like 15, 16, something like that
Mhm.
age. And I mean, having that minors on set doing these things, just kind of you just wonder, like how messed up, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's sad. But anyway, we watched it. I liked the movie. I still love Ladybugs. I think it's
Yeah.
still a fun movie. I would watch it again and again.
Yeah.
Not like back to back to back or anything. You said you watched that all the time, as a kid or whatever.
Mhm.
And remember when we used to do that all the time? Like,
Yeah.
we would
We'd have a
watch.
VHS and we just pop it in anytime we wanted to.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is like, I'm bored. Let's watch Ladybugs, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's because we didn't have so many options that we do now.
Yeah, exactly. The only option we had was probably like once or twice a week at the video store. And
Hmm.
you could only keep that for like one night to 5 nights. So
Yeah. Some,
now
I
in
guess 7 nights.
Mexico, I did it a lot because my selection was very limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Well,
just watch White Chicks over and over.
if you're gonna watch one movie,
And what was that other movie? Fantasy Island, I think it was the horror movie.
ugh, I did not like that
Man,
movie,
it's something like that.
honestly.
Oh my gosh, I just watched it over and over and over. It was
Um,
like I don't know what the deal was. It was like a comfort movie for me,
well, I mean, if it
strangely.
made you happy, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was a movie that a lot of people watch over and over again. We don't watch that.
Mhm.
I don't watch. Now, I still okay. I'll take that back. There are a couple movies that I'll watch if I'm like really in the mood, you know.
Mhm.
And some of them are my like favorite movies, like Dead Man on Campus, which I
Oh
did for
yeah,
the Hollywood Knockbusters
anytime.
before. I I remember as a kid, I would drive my friend Chris nuts because I would make him watch that movie over and over and over again and stuff because I loved Dead Man on Campus. I thought it was hilarious. And
Didn't we do the review on that together too?
I did that one with my friend Ryan, I believe.
Ah, we must have just been talking about it then.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
because
one
we
of
were
my
talking about the
favorites.
guy doing the show tune thing and him
Yeah.
hiding in the shower and all that.
Yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
you can't sing show tunes if you're depressed. Hey, look at me, I'm very fucking depressed. You're not even British. That's just
Hey,
every line in
man.
that movie. Hey man, hey man, you're not even British. Like you're a poser. Yeah, because he said you're a poser. That movie, like, and it was co-written by Mike White, who I absolutely adore. Like, I think Mike White is like one of my favorite writers out there, like
Mhm.
he did Orange County, which we also did for
Mm.
Hollywood Knockbusters. He did what else did he do? School of Rock. He did uh he wrote my favorite episode is Dawson's Creek, which is the scare episode
Hmm.
where they did like Friday the 13th episode.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you wrote that episode. I'm pretty sure you had the help of Kevin Williamson because there are some Scream references in there that I
Hmm.
have like a feeling Kevin wrote, or
Hmm.
whatever, as a jab to himself. Or maybe not. Maybe Mike wrote it. I don't know. I can't take it away from him. But he also did Freaks and Geeks. He did tons of stuff. And now recently he's been doing the one at the resort, White Lotus is his
Oh, I haven't seen
show.
that.
Oh my God. So you have HBO, you said, right?
No, I
You don't
have
have HBO.
Hulu, I have Netflix,
Damn it. I
yeah.
think HBO is what has White
And I
Lotus.
just signed up for a movies free thing to watch The Substance.
Whoa. Okay, yeah. Max has White Lotus. It is
Yeah,
so
okay.
good. It is so
Yeah,
funny. You got to get Max at some point because it is so funny.
yeah.
And it's dramatic and it's got a little bit of suspense stuff to it too. And Jennifer Coolidge is just the best,
I love her.
Yeah. Stifler's mom.
Yeah. And the
Sadly, that's sad,
bend
that
and
like
snap from what was it? The lawyer movie.
I, I don't know what,
I
what
think
when
it
that
was
was.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, Legally Blonde.
Yes, that one. She was the bend and snap, and she hit the guy.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jennifer
She was
Cool.
also in one of the Cinderella movies with Hilary Duff.
The first one.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool too. Her
Yeah, I'm
face was
looking.
stuck because she had just gotten Botox everywhere.
Let's see. She's also into Two Broke Girls. She's in a ton of stuff.
Hmm.
That, she's just sort of, I think it was her breakout thing was Stifler's mom. So after
Yeah.
that, she kind of, and then she just became that woman that just shows up and you're like, ah! Like Jennifer Tilly, whenever
Yeah.
she shows up, you're like, I know her, you know,
Yeah.
like you might not even see her name in the credits, but when she pops up, you're like, Jennifer Tilly.
Yep. Or you hear her voice.
Or you hear, well, yeah,
Yeah.
both of them have voices that,
Yep.
and they're both named Jennifer. Jeez.
Yep.
Ben Affleck should stay away. He has bad luck with every Jennifer that he's ever been with
Very
so
true.
far. Um, 3 times with Lopez. Just
Oh yeah.
you know,
I forgot about those two.
very toxic. Get away.
Yeah.
Stay away from each other. One of my friends and I were talking about that he keeps going back to her and then divorcing, and it's like ruining his chances with like bringing Jersey Girl back. You know, I love that movie. And I want that on like a Blu-ray.
Nice.
Um, yeah, one of Kevin Smith's best, which doesn't get talked about. It might be on Hollywood Knockbusters because I don't think, if not, I'm going to be doing a show. I also mentioned this on another podcast, so I might have said I brought it up there first. Oops, this is coming out before then. Um, but I've got a show that I'm making that's going to be another Hollywood show.
No.
I want to have four eventually, but right now I only have two, and this will
Hmm.
be the third one. And right now it's called Hollywood's Forgotten Hits. And
Nice.
yeah, and because I see so many movies, I'm like, oh, is this a Hollywood knockbuster? And I'm, like getting excited, and then
Yeah.
it's not. And then
Uh,
I'm like, but nobody talks about it anymore,
yeah.
you know? And I'll say it, the first one I want to do, it hasn't been recorded yet. First one I want to do is a little movie called Dave. Do you remember that movie
I do.
with Kevin Kline, where he
Yeah.
like he looked like the president, and
Yeah,
they
I
they
do
made him the
remember
president?
that. Yep.
Like he replaced the president while the president, I don't know, did whatever he was,
Yeah.
was doing, basically decoy or
Yeah.
whatever. And then he started acting like the president, doing presidential stuff.
Hmm.
I want to rewatch that and do that one. That's like one of the first ones I want to
Nice.
review. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I got a lot on my lists of things, and
Very
um
cool.
Sister Act may be on that one too, because that actually was a pretty good hit, but nobody fucking talks about Sister Act anymore.
No, it was just on a few weeks ago too.
But do you hear anybody ever say anything about Sister Act?
Mm-mm. Mostly they talk about Sister Act 2 if they do talk about anything because it had a lot of people in it that were like really big at the time.
Yeah, because the first one did well enough where they thought they could, make the sequel, and the sequel will be a big, big hit. And I think the sequel bombed,
Yeah.
or something. It did not do as well
Hmm.
as the first one and
I think it
stuff.
had Lauren Hill in it
Oh, Jesus.
and
Wasn't she on the Fugees at the time?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, but
And Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Jennifer Love Hewitt was in.
Yeah, she was in part
No.
two. Yeah. That was like one of her first big things, and then it just wasn't as big as they expected.
Back in the Habit. That was what it was called. Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. I bought Sister Act 1 on DVD, but I didn't buy the second one.
Uh,
And then I kicked myself afterwards because I found this second one on a double feature with the first one.
aw.
So I'm like, and they've got like it separately too, but
Mhm.
it costs more money.
Yeah.
cheaper to buy the two. And then I'm like, what am I gonna do with the one I bought already?
Yeah. I've had that happen. I had that
Yeah,
happen with the Resident Evils.
yeah.
I
You
like
buy
bought
like
the
the whole
first two.
set.
Yeah, I bought the first two and then they put them on the same disc or whatever, where you just flip the disc over. I said, you got to be kidding me.
They're in pre-production for a Sister Act 3. I'm not lying.
Oh, wow.
I'm surprised she'll take time off the View to go do this. But yeah, there's Maggie Smith was in the both the movies, and I did not know. Like Lauren Hill, yep.
Yep.
Alana Ubach, she's been in other
Oh, I
stuff.
loved her back in the day. My favorite she was in was Freeway.
I have not actually seen Freeway, but I'm gonna buy it sometime because
Oh, it's so good.
it's on
It's
I
so
think
messed up, but
Arrow, or it's one of those companies like Arrow
something like that.
or whatever that released. No, Vinegar Syndrome, I think released Freeway 1 and 2. So I
Yeah,
gotta
I
check
haven't seen
that.
the second one, but the first one I had on, it's in Mexico.
God, I didn't even realize Alana Ubach's still like busy. Like she's done a lot of movies and stuff.
She was
Like,
in White Chicks too.
well,
Wait, no, she wasn't. It was, what was it? Not White Chicks.
Legally
Ro-
Blonde.
Legally Blonde. That was it. Yeah, because she was like really ditzy. She was one of the sorority sisters.
Yeah, she was in um what did I remember her from? So she was in Freeway. She was in the
She was
Brady Bunch.
in Airborne.
That's right. She was
Yeah.
the red hair girl
Yep.
that fell in love with Seth Green.
Yeah.
You know, but at first didn't like Seth Green. They didn't have a good thing.
And then she
We
kisses him.
Yeah, we did Airborne
Yeah.
for Indie Film Cafe back in the first season. First season. And then and I had interviewed Brittany Powell back in the day,
Yeah.
and I'm actually friends with her, I want to say husband. Like I don't
Hey.
think they've actually like made it public. So maybe
Mm.
I'm not saying who it is, but
Yeah.
I think she does have a husband
Nice.
and stuff. But I'm friends with him. Um it was funny because we became friends because of her. And then him and I have become even closer friends. So I've become
Cool.
closer friends with the husband than I become friends with her. Because, like when I actually met him in
Hmm.
person when I went
Oh.
out to California. And I was like, oh, Brittany wasn't able to come. And he was like, oh, no, she's busy with some stuff, or whatever. And I was like, it's cool. Like, I didn't really like expect, you know, her necessarily to come. But
Hmm.
Christy Clark came, and she was in like Saved by the Bell
Hmm.
as like one of Zach's many, many girlfriends. She was the
Yeah.
and she was in Boy Meets World as one of Eric's many, many girlfriends, and like she played that role a lot where she did
Yeah.
that stuff and whatnot. And I adore, man, like I adore 90s TV shows, man. Like I just don't feel like they do it like this anymore. Like I feel like,
No.
and all the people like that are there, I want to work with all of them.
Yeah.
Like I want to work with uh the guy who plays Eric, Will. Um God, my brain is it's almost 12 here, so my
Oh.
brain's like we've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe it's gone on for that long for this
Yeah.
conversation. But I think that's because we went off many, many tangents, including this one right here.
Yeah.
Talking about ladybugs. Which I mean, what much is there to say? Like it's literally um was it Bad News Bears and Drag? Like that's literally the idea,
I
and
know one of
everything.
my favorite characters from it,
What?
Chewy,
Chew?
too.
Yeah.
When Jackie's like,
Chew. It's like, are you chanting or are you sneezing? No.
when she's chasing a butterfly. So they put the butterflies on the soccer ball.
So he could go after it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's a pretty good idea. You know, I
Yeah.
pulled that trick on somebody
Did you?
because they had this fascination with like grasshoppers, and they were trying to catch the ball while we were playing throw, and they just couldn't catch it. So I was like, just imagine the ball is a grasshopper and you're catching it to go play. The kid caught it. I got the
Nice.
grasshopper. I said, all right.
Caught the grasshopper.
Yeah.
Funny. If you caught the grasshopper like that, you probably squish it,
Oh
but
yeah,
all
but
right.
this kid was like 5 years old. He had no.
You didn't care. You just wanted to
But
catch the
told him, I was
ball.
like,
You
see,
wanted,
this ball is a big grasshopper. Do you see it? I said, here's, I started pointing at the little stitches on it. I was like, here's the head, here's this. And he said, oh, I see it. I said, now catch the grasshopper. So,
that's so funny.
yeah, I use a lot of tricks babysitting that I learned from movies that I
From
watched. So it
Ladybugs
really
and
helped.
yeah, I honestly I thought the movie was great. I think there was a good moral to it. Like, it shouldn't be all about winning, like uh the father, that one line, my favorite line in the movie. And it wasn't like a funny line,
Mhm.
it was just a great line. And I even quoted it online. I don't know if you saw that or not, but I quoted it where it said, the guy, what is the boss says,
Mhm.
um, I just want to be the best, right? And
Mhm.
he goes, the best, the best. That's all I kept hearing is you want to be the best. But what's the point of being the best when it brings out the worst in you?
Mhm.
And I was like, dude, that's like deep, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so true. I posted that and one guy was like, they should tell politicians that or something, you know? And I'm just like, all right, well, I guess other people can look at it that way. But that's true. Like, what's the point of being the best when it brings out the worst in you? Because
Sure.
we do sort of try to, and of course, everybody wants to win, right?
Mhm.
You want to win the championship. You don't
Yeah.
want to lose, and you don't want your kids feeling like they're losers, and everything. That's why they started making those stupid uh participation trophies, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's lame. Like, I get it. You don't want everybody to feel like everybody's a winner, but like
Yeah.
it
But
doesn't work
nobody
that way.
learns how to better themselves to
No.
get better at what they're doing. So
Nope.
that's the kind of drawback.
Nope. Like nobody can feel
It's like if
better.
everybody entered their films in a film festival and everybody won, and you're like,
Or
okay,
everybody entered the lottery and everybody won. Then what would
yeah,
be the
that
point?
too.
What would be the
Yeah,
point?
everybody get 2 cents.
That would be like that scene in freaking
Yeah,
Bruce Almighty, where everybody won the lottery, and all of a sudden everybody hates,
yeah,
everybody's more mad now because nobody
yeah,
won, or whatever. What a waste
yep,
of time and everything. And that's why God does not allow you to win the lottery when you pray to him, because, if you're lucky, you win. You
yeah,
know, it's all about luck,
yeah,
It's not about God. God didn't go, okay, you won, the lottery. It's like, God said you created the lottery. You
yeah,
play it, you know. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose.
yeah,
That's up to you. Um, so I mean that's up to the universe, I guess. It's just up
yeah.
to whatever happens, you know. Um, but anyway, so all in all, yeah, I thought there was a really good message with this movie. A lot about it doesn't really matter, especially when they realize like Martha's, Matthew and everything, and they don't need Matthew. They
Mhm.
can do this on their own. Matthew was just there to help out. Martha was just there to help out. They don't
Yeah,
need Martha anymore. They can do it on their own.
yeah.
Uh, and did you know like that guy, Blake Clark, plays Coach Bull?
Oh,
Which I love that line where he's like, I know your full name. right? And he looks over and he's like, he's, pretend to be or he's like a soldier or whatever, like a general, sergeant, drill sergeant,
Mhm.
yelling at us, people, drop down and give me 30. And then he yells at the crowd, drop down and give me 30.
Yeah.
Thought that was so funny. But that guy was the father. That was Ryder Strong's, whatever, the Sean
Oh
Hunter's
yeah.
father. And he was also in a few Adam Sandler movies. Like he was in
Hmm.
Waterboy,
Yeah.
and he's been in a bunch of stuff. And it was just always fun whenever I see his name pop up in a movie. I'm like, yes. You get like there are certain people out there who aren't famous, like they aren't super duper famous.
Yeah.
Only kind of cult famous.
Yeah.
And so he's one of those people like that, him and like Mike Starr, who was in
Hmm.
like Dumb and Dumber as the bad guy who gets the rat poison, that he drank or whatever, and stuff. Like people like that, like whenever I see them in a movie, I'm like, ah, I know that person,
Yeah.
and everything. I get super excited. So I think it was really cool to hear Blake Clark when I saw his name. I was like, yes, can't wait to see who he plays.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a few people I think in this movie that I was like surprised that they popped up, and I'm kind
Yeah.
of sad that Sam Kinison didn't. He was one of the best parts of Back to School. I don't know if you ever saw that movie,
I did a long time ago.
but he was the one who was like yelling at the class,
Hmm.
like he would scream because that's what
Yeah.
he was famous for. So
Oh
I don't
yeah.
I don't know how it would have worked with the Tony Robbins guy because he'd just be screaming at the people, and I don't know if you'd take people seriously for that.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, all in all, once again, I enjoy this movie. I think it's cute.
Yeah.
I think people who, especially that grew up in the 90s, should rewatch it. People who
Hmm.
didn't grow up in the 90s, I don't know if they like it or not.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if like the new generation would find it as funny as we did.
Hmm.
You know, like maybe some of the Rodney Dangerfield lines and stuff, but
Hmm.
like the cross-dressing and stuff like that as a joke, you know,
Yeah.
um, the LGBTQ community, I don't think they would love it, you know.
Uh-uh.
Um, like I do wonder what they think of this movie now.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because it's a time capsule, so you see all the things from the 90s that,
Hmm.
whatever, but I don't know. I'd love to see like also who auditioned for this movie, you know, if
Hmm.
there's people like that auditioned for the Vanessa Shaw part or
Yeah.
auditioned for the Jonathan Brandis part, and did they,
Hmm.
who else could have like who else would have been up for that role? Like who else would have been up for the Jonathan Brandis? Leonardo DiCaprio, maybe? No.
Maybe.
Um, that would have been interesting.
Hmm.
You always like, do you ever think like how people's lives would be different if they did a different movie?
Hmm.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio did Sidekicks. His
Yeah.
life would not be the same. You
No,
know,
not at all.
he might not have had the same like trajectory like that he has in like, later doing Basketball Diaries and things like that. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if he would have done that because people would have said you're the sidekicks guy.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a lot of what happened with Jonathan Brandis is he did this movie and he did sidekicks and his life sort of went in a different direction.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, he ended up killing himself.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the saddest things. Like, did you ever watch that documentary I told you about? Kid
I don't think I
90?
got to see it yet.
It's really good,
Yeah.
but as a Jonathan Brandis fan of yours, you're gonna cry.
Aw.
I mean, it's better to like know the information and
Yeah.
everything, but it does talk about like the dark side of
Mm.
whatever. But what was cool is he dated Punky Brewster,
Hmm.
Soleil Moon Frye for a long time. I'm sure you knew that because sure it was in Teen Magazine
Yeah.
and everything. But she used to save, or she would save all her messages, every
Oh.
single one of her messages, and she has every single one of her messages that Jonathan Brandis, including the last one he ever sent her,
Oh.
and everything. And she played it in the movie. It was so, oh man, the movie makes me want to cry because like it's so everything's so sad about the time period and how different it is today. Like
Hmm.
the stuff that people said to her, like about her being her like basically she became a punky boobster,
Uh,
because of her boobs getting
mhm.
bigger and everything. And like all of a sudden she became like a sex item and stuff
Yeah.
and not what she wanted and stuff. So, and
Mm-hmm.
then Jonathan Brandis never acted like there was a problem. And
Hmm.
man, just thinking about him and like Brad Renfro and all these
Mm.
people, like, could you imagine River Phoenix still being alive today? And,
Yeah.
like if all of them didn't pass away, we'd have some pretty freaking awesome actors like that are.
Uh,
And Kurt Cobain never passed away, the music would have continued, and Nirvana would still be playing today, probably. Like, man, I kind of wish I would do like, I would want to do a movie someday
hmm.
where, like, somebody went into the past and just saved every single life of all of those famous people. Maybe it could be a TV show, but like they save the lives of those people, and then like it would be an anthology, and like each person that they saved, you could see how the world would have been different, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would that be a
I
good?
think it would be way different, honestly.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
Kurt Cobain still playing and everything. Could you
Yeah.
imagine all that stuff? Like, uh, Jonathan Brandis would be fighting for roles that, probably all these actors like Joaquin Phoenix are going for and stuff. Like Jonathan Brandis as the Joker,
Oh,
like it
yeah.
would have been such a different world that we live in
Keep
and
it.
stuff, you know? So
Yeah.
I love it, but I'm like that would be kind of cool to see like an idea of where, you know, um whatever happened to Jonathan Taylor Thomas, by the way?
He stopped acting. That's
Does
all I
he doesn't have a social media presence. He
know.
doesn't
He
I don't
stopped acting, and I think he got a regular job.
I did interview his brother on Home Improvement, Taron Noah Smith,
Hmm.
you know, and he actually went into like he had like
Ah.
a vegan company or something, he did vegan cooking,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
but he talked about that. That was his life. Like he got out of being, the star of Home Improvement and, did that, and stuff. So it's
Hmm.
kind of awesome to see like what people are doing, but like that's what they're doing nowadays, and
Hmm.
everything. And a lot of people get out of the business, maybe Jonathan
Yeah.
Brandis would have got out of the business and said, I don't want to do this anymore. You know,
Hmm.
not not like when they're kids, they're kind of forced to do it. When they
Yeah.
get to be adults, they can make up their mind,
Yeah. Exactly.
and some people want to quit because
Yep.
they have a lot of bad memories, and some people want
Yep.
to stay because that's all they know,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So it's weird. So I just wonder if he would have stayed with it, and would he have done all the stuff that Heath Ledger did, and would he have saved Heath Ledger's life because Heath Ledger would have had a different career,
Hmm.
Like if you think about how differently things go with, something didn't happen to someone, you know,
Yeah.
um, just the whole world would be completely different.
Yeah.
Mm. Maybe for the
Exactly.
good,
It would
maybe
be.
for the worse, you never know.
Maybe.
So, all right, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Join me next month. I'll have the last episode of the season, but what I sort of, and I'm gonna let you know this. I think this is interesting. Uh, when I first started this, it was like only like 3 episodes or something. Only did 3 episodes for the first season, then like
Hmm.
6 episodes for the second season, and then 10 and 10, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, starting next season, I start doing 12 episodes,
Oh, cool.
which will be a whole year long. So it starts in January, it starts back up in January, then goes all the way to December, then does that
Hmm.
again for the next year, and I think all the way to season 10, because season
Nice.
5 starts coming up and it goes up to season 10, where that will be like 100 episodes if I get to that. And
Very cool.
I say if I get to that because I don't know what the world holds, like
Yeah,
I may
yeah.
be done with this show next year. I don't know. Halfway through next
Hopefully
year.
not.
Yeah, hopefully I continue doing it, but it's
Yeah.
just gonna depend on what I'm doing with my life. Um,
Yeah, true.
5 years
Sorry,
from
cat's
now, I
doing
can't.
weird stuff.
He's like, I want my mommy. I don't want her talking on the show anymore. Um, Probably
He's
like the
going through
audience.
my things.
Of course he is. So cats too.
No, you
Um,
can't do that.
anyway, so yep, come back and we'll be back next I think next month is a Christmas episode. So that'll
I
be fun. I'm not saying what it is yet because I have the guy lined up, but we haven't recorded it. So
nice.
it could change because I want to keep it with that for him. This
Hmm.
guy, yeah. So I want to keep that for him. But if he doesn't do it this month, we're gonna do it next year for the
Cool.
next, one and whatnot. But pretty sure he'll do it. So
Cool.
I'll let you know what it is after it's
Yes,
done.
cool.
But everybody else, thank you guys for checking this out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Once again, join us next month for a brand new episode. The season finale, but you won't have to wait too long, for the next season. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you later.
Bye bye.
Bye.